What's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. In this video, you guys are going to see what looks like an eruption that occurred here in the last 24 hours along the west coast of the United States. A massive plume that cast a shadow on the ground 120 miles long. Also, you guys are going to see storm footage from last night that generated over 500,000 power outages across the eastern United States. But first, over here at the homepage of the website, today's feature photo sent in by Angie out of Michigan. Saw this incredibly photogenic shelf cloud above Morenci, Michigan. Checking in on the GOES X-ray flux over here at the Space Weather Prediction Center. You can see there was an X-flare in the last 12 hours. That would be X-flare number 50 of solar cycle 25. Looking at the power outage situation over here at poweroutage.us, there are a total of 16 states dealing with power outages of some degree, totaling just over 653,000 power outages. Unbelievable. And the storm activity hasn't necessarily been super overwhelming. I saw what looked like the beginnings of a derecho there in the central plains above Illinois and into Indiana, and that's the ideal location for derechos. We saw one back in 2020. This video was sent in by Mark Scoville, who was in the middle of this historic derecho that occurred on August 10th of 2020. This is a video he took as he was in the middle of that derecho in Des Moines, Iowa, back in August of 2020. Looked like a land-based hurricane went through the area. I remember that storm crystal clear, and I watched it develop on radar, and it was definitely one for the record books. Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate that. Hopping over to the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera, looking at the seismographs that monitor the mighty supervolcano. Looking at a little bit of earthquake activity here in the last hour or so over along the west boundary at Mirror Lake Plateau, Pelican Cone, and a little bit of activity down here at Hawk's Nest. Other than that, nothing super major going on. Still have this crazy activity up here along the northern edge, but no major earthquake activity at the supervolcano caldera. I will say, looking at the Schumann resonance for the last 4 days now, you can see these series of very rapid pulses that are showing up in the Schumann. Normally when we see activity, it's a long duration event, and these long duration events usually eclipse 40 hertz. These that we're seeing the last 4 days have been in the 10 to 20 hertz range. So this is rather mysterious. The Schumann is trying to tell us a story. Here's a quick look at the most recent X-class solar flare, number 50, and the ionosphere reacted almost instantly as X-flare number 50 occurred just a few hours ago. Back to the power outages real quick. 653,000, primarily across the eastern United States. That does include Texas, that has 142,000 currently without power from Hurricane Beryl. But I wanted to show you guys some storm footage that was sent in. This was a video sent in by John out of Pioneer, Ohio. It has narration from last night as the storms were rolling through the eastern United States.
Here again, John 1 here again, Pioneer, Ohio. It is Monday night, about 11 o'clock or so, and I'm outside of Pioneer, Ohio. Line of thunderstorms coming in, and it's been like this for about a half an hour now.
And it stayed like that for a while. The storms were rolling through the Ohio area, Illinois, Indiana. Here you can see a very bright lightning strike that occurred not too far from John's location, going from Ohio to Chicago. Again, last night, the sky was just loaded with energy going from Chicago down to Tucson. This occurred about 4 days ago. What almost looked like a land-based hurricane going through Tucson, but something unusual happened as this storm rolled through the area. I had some photos sent in by Amber from this building right here. For some reason, the roof collapsed on the top of this building, and this gentleman right here was inside the building as the roof collapsed during the very strong storm that went through Tucson. The fire department showed up and was assessing the situation, and I think they were equally as puzzled as to what was going on during that storm in Tucson, Arizona. Okay, now the massive plume that formed yesterday up in Oregon. And I've looked at the area, and yes, there is wildfire activity up in Oregon and Washington, but this just seems different. This plume that you're going to see, this first satellite segment was sent in by Steve, who also noticed this unusual activity cast a shadow 120 miles long from Oregon all the way over into Idaho. Check that out. And notice the wildfire smoke to the north of it. That's a big wildfire plume right there. This looks like something different. It almost looked as if something erupted on the ground there. Check this out. Coming up, I adjust the lighting just a little bit. I was trying to pull forward the shadow as the shadow once again stretched 120 miles from Oregon all the way over into Idaho. And nothing else was casting shadows like that. So that was implying that this thing was very dense, much denser than the wildfire smoke north of it. Almost looked like some sort of a volcanic eruption. Here I measured it. You can see 120 miles long. Here's another measurement, 120 miles long. And any communities on the other side of this very tall plume was in complete darkness. Daylight turned to night right in there. That is so bizarre, almost giving you the impression that something possibly erupted over here in eastern Oregon that may not have been a wildfire. And another location that's also dealing with an excessive amount of wildfires is over here in far eastern Siberia. We looked at this location here a couple of weeks ago, and the wildfires are burning very intensely near the oldest lake on Earth. This is the lake that I was talking about in the video that's 25 million years old. But if you go back a couple of days, you can see some of the wildfire smoke plumes over here look nothing like the one that we just saw over in Oregon, and these are gigantic. These things are absolutely massive, but none of them extend up as high as the one did in Oregon, and none of them are casting shadows on the ground that are over 100 miles long. So this situation over here in Oregon is definitely mysterious. Thanks for the photos and videos, guys. Keep them coming. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.